We are here in Northeast Portland in the Cully neighborhood at the headquarters of Hacienda Community Development Corporation. And Hacienda is one of the 4 organizations that make up the Living Cully Coalition. So alongside Hacienda, we have Verde, the Native American Youth and Family Center, or NAYA, and Habitat for Humanity Portland region. These 4 organizations united in order to build grassroots political power for people to be able to stay in this community and really shape its future rather than being subject to displacement as gentrification sweeps across the neighborhood. Cully neighborhood actually only became part of Portland in the 1980s. Before that, it was an unincorporated area, and because of that, it was developed without a lot of the basic infrastructure and services. There are a lot of streets that are not paved. There are a lot of missing sidewalks. We do not have a library or a community center. It's only very recently that we've had parks. Cully is bordered immediately to the north by industrial areas and the Portland International Airport and state highways with freight traffic. That, combined with the kind of lack of basic services over the decades, has made this a neighborhood very affordable compared to the rest of Portland. As a result, this has been a neighborhood that people coming from all over the world have been able to make a home, as well as African American families being pushed out from closer in neighborhoods in Portland. As housing costs and rents were starting to go up in Cully, we could really see the trends moving across the neighborhood from west to east. On 42nd Avenue, which is the western border of the Cully neighborhood, we started to see a lot of investment in the commercial district, new trendy restaurants, fancy new pizza restaurants, coffee shops and bakeries. And really around that time, we started to see some very high profile threats of mass displacement of entire properties of low-income renters from their housing. One of the things that makes the Living Cully Coalition powerful is that within our coalition, we have the ability to buy and control real estate for the community's benefit and to build housing. But we also have developed grassroots community organizing programs. So at the end of a year-long campaign in 2016, we were successful in purchasing the Oakleaf Mobile Home Park to prevent it from being sold to an investor who was going to shut it down. Through a lot of partnerships, we were able to support the complete renovation of the Oakleaf Mobile Home Park, and all of the residents have completely new homes with stable rents. The park will never be sold and shut down. It is owned by a nonprofit affordable housing provider. Then, just immediately across the street here was a big building. It was originally built in the 1950s as a grocery store, but by the time we got to the 1990s, it became the Sugar Shack, a notorious adult entertainment complex. So it had been a long-time goal of people in this community, including the Living Cully organizations, to find a way to acquire that property, shut down what had been happening there, and do something positive with it. And that was successful in 2015 when Living Cully took ownership of that property. Hacienda CDC is now nearing completion, not only on 141 permanently affordable homes, but a community event and meeting space and a plaza courtyard for events and food carts. So we know that the ability to control property is essential to preventing gentrification. And that's what's led us to continue advocating for new, creative, innovative sources of money, which is what is really needed in order to get control of property and get it out of the market permanently. Cully is a neighborhood that is much less densely developed. There are still a lot of very large lots with small farms. There's a lot of small neighborhood agriculture happening. At the same time, there have been investments in the last 10 years focused on improving the natural environment and access to green space. But I think it's really important to not get to focus on green gentrification as being somehow special or different than any other iteration of gentrification. What is causing gentrification is the private, profit-driven control of land and housing. We need to ask the question of what else do we need to bring along with the park to make sure that people have stable housing. And so we have to find out how we can do both of those things rather than letting one be an excuse to not do the other.